Welcome to the Transitions Daily podcast. Transitions Daily is an online recovery group that offers a daily distribution of popular recovery resources accompanied by a secret Facebook group for discussion. We hope you enjoy today's readings.
This is Transitions Daily for July 3rd, read by Sarah M. from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA. AA Thoughts for the Day. Discovery. I knew from that moment that I had an alcoholic mind. I saw that willpower and self-knowledge would not help in those strange mental blank spots. I had never been able to understand people who said that a problem had them hopelessly defeated. I knew then it was a crushing blow. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 42. Thought to consider. Sobriety is a choice and a treasure. AA acronyms: SWAT, S-W-A-T, surrender, willingness, acceptance, and trust. Just for today. Egoism. From Medicine Looks at Alcoholics Anonymous. The fact of hitting bottom to produce a surrender which cut the ego to size was evident fairly soon. In time, two additional facts manifested themselves. The first was that a reduced ego has marvelous recuperative powers. The second was that surrender is an essential disciplinary function and experience. It is common knowledge that a return of the full-fledged ego can happen at any time. Years of sobriety are no insurance against its resurgence. No AA, regardless of his veteran status, can ever relax his guard against the encroachments of a reviving ego. Recently, one AA, writing to another, reported that he was suffering, he feared, from halitosis, a reference to the smugness and self-complacency which so easily can creep into the individual with years of sobriety behind him. Dr. Harry Thibaut, M.D., Alcoholics Anonymous, Comes of Age, page 249. Daily Reflections. Experience, the best teacher. Being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 87. Some say that experience is the best teacher, but I believe that experience is the only teacher. I have been able to learn of God's love for me only by the experience of my dependence on that love. At first, I could not be sure of His direction in my life, but now I see that if I am to be bold enough to ask for His guidance, I must act as if He has provided it. I frequently ask God to help me remember that He has a path for me. Copyright 1990, Alcoholics Anonymous World Services, Inc. As Bill Sees It, Meeting Adversity. Our spiritual and emotional growth in AA does not depend so deeply upon success as it does upon our failures and setbacks. If you will bear this in mind, I think that your slip will have the effect of kicking you upstairs instead of down. We AAs have had no better teacher than old man adversity, except in those cases where we refuse to let him teach us. That's from a letter, 1958. Now and then all of us fall under heavy criticism. When we are angered and hurt, it's difficult not to retaliate in kind. Yet we can restrain ourselves and then probe ourselves, asking whether our critics were really right. If so, we can admit our defects to them. This usually clears the air for mutual understanding. Suppose our critics are being unfair. Then we can try calm persuasion. If they continue to rant, it is still possible for us, in our hearts, to forgive them. Maybe a sense of humor can be our saving grace. Thus, we can both forgive and forget. Letter, 1966. Big Book Quote. Do not be discouraged if your prospect does not respond at once. Search out another alcoholic and try again. You are sure to find someone desperate enough to accept with eagerness what you offer. We find it a waste of time to keep chasing a man who cannot or will not work with you. If you leave such a person alone, he may soon become convinced that he cannot recover by himself. Alcoholics Anonymous 4th edition, Working with Others, page 96. 24 hours a day. In the beginning of Alcoholics Anonymous, there were only 2 persons. Now there are many groups and thousands of members. True, the surface has only been scratched. There are probably 10 million or more persons in America alone who need our help. More and more people are making a start in AA each day. In the case of individual members, the beginning has been accomplished when they admit they are powerless and turn to a power greater than themselves, admitting that their lives have become unmanageable. That higher power works for good in all things and helps us to accomplish much in an individual growth and in the growth of AA groups. Am I doing my part to help AA grow? Meditation for the day. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Only in the fullness of faith can the heart, sick and faint and weary, be satisfied, healed, and rested. Think of the wonderful spiritual revelation still to be found by those who are trying to live the spiritual life. Much of life is spiritually unexplored country. Only to the consecrated and loving people who walk with God in spirit can these great spiritual discoveries be revealed. Keep going forward and keep growing in righteousness. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not be held back by the material things of the world. I pray that I may let God lead me forward. Hazelden Foundation, P.O. Box 176, Center City, Minnesota, 55012. I'm Sarah, and I'm an alcoholic.
We hope you enjoyed today's readings. You can also receive Transitions Daily via email and discuss today's readings in our secret Facebook group. So for more information, go to dailyaaemails.com today.
Other than the 24 hours a day reading, unless otherwise specified, all quotes copyright Alcoholics Anonymous World Services, Inc. 1952, 1957, 1967, 1973, 1975, 1976, 1980, 1981, 1984, 1985, 1988, or 2001.